Okay, so I think the sum of the 10 positive number is around 50 to 60. Okay, so let's execute the program. Java C for loop dot Java. Okay, we get an errors on line number 16. Okay, yeah, okay, this is okay again. Compile Java C dot Java for loop. Okay, Java. Okay, yeah. So the sum of the first 10 positive numbers is 55. Okay, so in this example, first we initialize. Okay, first we initialize a variable sum to 0 to store the value total. Okay, so the loop starts with I initialize to 1 and continue as long as I is less than or equal to 10. Okay, in each iteration, in each iteration, the current value of I is added to sum using the statement sum plus e- sum plus equal to I. Okay. After each iteration, I is incremented by 1. Once the loop completes, we print the final value of sum. Okay. So the output of this program will be the sum of the first 10 positive numbers is 55. Okay. Okay, so this example demonstrate how a for loop can use to perform calculation over a range of numbers efficiently. Okay. Okay, let's take another example for it because the for loop is very important and you will use it in several times. Okay, so now take the another example for the find of the factorial. Okay. Okay, so first the number we want to calculate the factorial of, and the second is the initialize the factorial to 1. Okay, then the for loop. Okay, come on the body for loop. Initialize a variable which name is I equal to 1, and make a condition I less than equal to number, and increment the value of I plus plus. Okay, or actual logic in or factorial. Factorial multiply and equal to I. Okay, multiply factorial by after the loop. Okay, so let's execute the program. Java C. Okay, our program is compiled successfully. Then compile the wrong file. Compile the wrong file. Yeah, that's the correct file. Okay, so the factorial of 5 is 120. Okay, the factorial of 5 is 120. Okay, here's the example of a for loop in Java that calculate the factorial of a number, especially for the number 5. Okay, so in this example, we start by defining a variable number. Okay, start by defining a variable number and assign it value 5, which is the number 4, which we want to calculate the factorial. Okay, we also initialize the variable factorial to 1. Okay, we also initialize the variable factorial to 1. This is because the factorial of a number is the product of all positive integers up to that number and the start multiply from 1. Okay, and next the for loop begins with the variable I. Initialize, okay, the for loop begins initialize with the I initialized to 1 and compare it continues as long as I is less than or equal to number which is 5 in the case. Okay, in our case the number is 5. Okay, inside the loop we use the statement inside the loop we use the statement factorial multiply equal to I. Okay, which is a shorthand for factorial equal to factorial multiply I. Okay, this means we multiply the current value of factorial by I in each iteration. Okay, factorial, this means this factorial multiply by I. Okay, this shorthand statement. Okay, after each iteration I is incremented by 1. Once the loop completes, we print the final value of factorial. Okay, so the factorial of 5 is 120. Okay, so there is the example of for loops. Okay, so let's take another example for loop. Okay, because the for loop is most important except then while and do while loop. Sorry. Okay, so the next is the Fibonacci series. Okay, next example is for the Fibonacci series. Fibonacci series is like this. Fibonacci series is means that first value is 1, 0, second value is 1. Then the third value is sum of previous two values, like 0 plus 1 is 1, and the previous now become previous value is 1 plus 1 is 2, and the 2 plus 1 is 3, and 3 plus 2 is 5, and 5 plus 3 is 8, okay, and the 8 plus 5 is 13, and 30 plus 8 is 21, 21 plus 30 is around, yeah, 34. Okay, that's the Fibonacci sequence. Okay, that is the Fibonacci sequence. So we made the program for the Fibonacci series. Okay, there is the last example of for loop. Okay, then we continue with for each loop. Okay, so first make some variables. Okay, int n equal to 10. Okay, so number of terms to print in the Fibonacci sequence. Term to print in the Fibonacci sequence. Okay, and the next is the int a equal to 0, and the next is the b equal to 0. Okay, so then first term, and there is the second term. Okay, so first we print message, then come on the for loop. Okay, int I equal to 1. Now the condition is I less than equal to n. Okay, then increment the value of I. Okay, now come on the body of for loop. Okay, system dot out dot println. So not println, okay, only print because we want. Okay, first we try it with println. a plus. Okay. Okay. So first calculate it. Okay. So we have some errors in that. Um, Parent. Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's the error. Okay. Compile it again. Okay. So for errors solve. Okay. Okay, so we made an logical mistake. Okay, find what? That's the mistake. We made the second term initialize with the 0. Okay, then okay, that's the correct Fibonacci series. 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5, okay, 5 plus 3 is 8, 8 plus 5, 30, 30 plus 8, 21, 20 plus 1 plus 30, 34. Okay, there is a sequence. Now I print the number and is set the 100. Okay, then compile it. Okay, the number is on the minus because the integer value limit has the across. Okay. Okay, so here's the another example of a for loop in Java that print the Fibonacci sequence up to the 10th term. Okay, in this example, we define a variable n. Okay, we define a variable and assign it the values 10. No, sorry, here we assign the values 25. Okay, assume it's 10, not the 25. Okay, we want to print the Fibonacci sequence. Okay, now second is we initialize two variables a and b. Okay, so a and b to 0 and 1 respectively. These represent the first two terms of the Fibonacci sequence. Okay, we here we start for loop with initialize I with the initialize to 1 and continue until I is less than or equal to n. Okay, continue until I is less than equal to n. Okay, inside the loop, okay, inside the loop we print the current term a. Okay, inside the current loop we print the current term a. We calculate the next term in the sequence by adding a and b and store it in next term. Okay, we then update a to the value of b, the next term in the sequence, and update b to next term, the new term we just calculated. Okay, the process repeated until we have printed all 10 terms. Okay, so this example demonstrates how for loops can be used to generate and print a sequence of numbers. Okay, specifically the Fibonacci series sequence by updating values each iteration. Okay, let's execute it. Okay, sorry. Okay, so there is no the right. Right. Okay, so there is the yeah. Now the correct format. This format is correct. Okay, so the for loop is end. So now come to the for each loop. Okay, so the for each loop. Okay, there is a for each loop which is used exclusively to loop through element in arrays. The following example outputs are Okay, so the for each loop is used to iterate over arrays or collections. Okay, so there is the syntax of the for each loop. No, there is a for for each loop. Okay, now so let's make a program. Click class for each. Okay, so let's initialize a array. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so this is the array. So it's possibly that you don't know about the array. So don't worry, we will talk about it later. So assume it's a container of the integer numbers. Okay, so for each loop is 4 num column numbers. Okay, so let's save it by the program. Okay, so there is the output. Okay, I will give you another example. Okay, wait, I will give you another example and explain you how much better. Okay, so this example is now a for each loop in Java is simplified way to iterate over elements in the collection. Okay, for a for each loop in Java is simplified way to iterate over elements in a collection, such as an array or a list. Okay, it is often used when you want to perform an action on each element without needing to manage the index manually. Okay, there's a detailed explanation like along with an example of using a for each loop in Java to iterate through array of integer. Okay, like first we declare an array called numbers. Here, okay, first we declared an array that called number and that contains five integer elements 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we print them one by one. So the for each loop starts with the syntax for int num colon numbers. Okay, here's int number is a temporary variable. Okay, num here's a num is a temporary variable that will take the value of each element in the numbers array once at a time. The loop iterates through each elements in the numbers array. Okay, for each iteration, the current element is assigned to the variable number. Okay, so inside the loop, we print the current value of number. This will output each element of the array in order. The loop continues until all elements in the array have been processed. Okay, so the output of this program will be this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so the for each loop is practically useful be- because it simplify the code and reduce the chance of errors that can occur when managing indicates manually. It is also more readable and easier to understand, making it a preferred choice for iterating through collections in Java. Okay, let's the another uh, example of for each loop. This is the last example of our today's class. Okay, I import some Java libraries. Okay, that is the array list. Okay, so the make the list of string. Make the list of string. That's name is like fruits. Okay, fruits equal to new array. That's also an example of data structure. Okay, DSA. That's also an example of an data structure. Fruits dot add an apple dot add bananas fruits dot add cherry fruits dot add date. Okay, so there is the list of fruits. Here we added some fruits in fruits object. Okay, like apple, banana, cherry. That's okay. So now using for each loop, iterate, iterate through the list. Okay, now the for string fruit fruits. Okay, so I make a spelling mistake. Mm, okay, so that's not important now. System dot out dot println fruits fruit. Okay, so print print here and here each fruit in the list. Okay, so there is some complicated example. We we had an error for each example. Number 22, errors interface num records accepted. Compilation error. I think. Yeah, that's the. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, now again we have an issue that. Okay, then we have an extra curly braces. Okay, so I think this is the normal. That's there is the some errors cannot symbol. Okay, that's the letter. Okay, now we have another array. The string is should be smaller than. Okay, that's the issue. Okay, now solve it. Okay, first always compile the program, then execute. Okay, here's the list of fruits: apple, banana, cherry, date. Okay, okay. So first we import the necessary classes and create a list and list called fruits using array list. Okay. Now second we added four different fruits name to be like apple, banana, cherry, and dates. Okay, added in list. We print a message indicates that we will display the fruits in the list. Okay, so the for each loop starts with the syntax for string fruits colon fruits. Okay, here's a string fruits in the temporary variable that will take the value of each element in the fruits list one at a time. Okay, inside the loop we print the current value of fruit which outputs each fruit in the list. Okay, inside the loop we print the current value of fruit which outputs each fruit in the list. The loop continues until all elements in the list lists have been processed. So the output of this program will be like this. Okay, features fruits in the list: apple, banana, cherry, dates. Okay, so the list and the array is the example of the data structure. Okay, so with the Java, we also learn about some data structure. Okay, so the example demonstrates how you can use a for each loop to iterate through a list of string, making it easy to perform actions on each element without dealing with indicates directly. Okay, so let's end up today's session. It's already more than 2 hours. Okay, so Neha, Vidhi, bye bye. Okay, so today's session is over. Thank you for your time. Hello, Neha, I am audible.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so today's session is end. Now we meet in next session. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Yeah.